Hey, everybody, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Monday, it's Mugshot Monday, and we're here to talk about Love After Lockup. You guys,
This was something.
it was a heavy episode. I'm here with my girl Keisha,
Mhm.
and
Hey.
you wrote me, Matt Marr wrote me, I think Amy Archer wrote me. We're like,
Mhm.
wow, this was a heavy episode.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to watch it till this morning, which is we're recording on Saturday. And I was just not prepared for what I saw, Keisha. I was very upset.
Well, we have certain levels of things like expectations from
Yes.
shows like this,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think we've ever experienced what happened
No.
with Arthur.
No, it's
And it
very
was raw. It was real.
I just couldn't get over that look in his eyes,
I know.
and I've
I
never
know.
seen that on a person in my life, thank the Lord,
Yeah.
and I've never seen somebody have a response like that. Now, I will tell you a story. I have,
Mhm.
someone in my life that I know, I will not get specific at all, but somebody I know in my life had a situation with their spouse that had a
Mhm.
PTSD reaction to, having seen a lot of, combat and things like that.
Yeah. Mhm.
And physically hurt the person because
Uh-huh.
they were just having a conversation that person didn't like, and it
Oh,
triggered that
wow.
response, and it's super interesting for me to see this because I can imagine it's a very similar situation. Just having an
Yeah.
uncomfortable conversation they did not like that
Yeah.
put them into this trigger response.
It happens. And you never know what the trigger. Well, I'm sure he didn't know what the trigger was because he's been institutionalized for so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just going to go ahead and say, I think hope is a trigger. I
Uh-huh.
really do.
I think it's somebody he
Um,
can't fully trust because she has betrayed his trust.
exactly. And seeing that picture
Uh-huh. It
that he
just
saw of the other guy, he just, yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Very sad.
We're not gonna start with them, but, you told me you have a funny dog story to tell me, so let's start with that on a happy
Oh,
note.
it's not particularly funny.
Oh, no.
It goes from bad to good. So,
Oh, okay. Oh, god.
yeah, I know. So Sushi, he'll be 15 in October.
Wow.
And he doesn't see as good, he doesn't hear as good, but he still runs around, does this, does that.
He still
So,
bites the shit out of James.
yes. So I get his all their food from this pet food store.
Mhm.
And they have been like running low on what he eats. So I went and they had like one little thing left, and I was kind of like, "Are y'all gonna get it back? What is going on?"
Mhm.
And so I was like, let me just try another dog food just to test it
Okay.
out.
Yeah, and then
So
you
when
have
I
to
get
mix
home,
it and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, when I got home, my intuition was saying, "Don't give it to him." I'm like, he's so old. I hate to switch him.
Yeah.
I was like, I just had all the that vibes and ignored them all.
Mm.
So I give him the food, and I tell you, it was like 15 minutes later. I was like, "Man, Sushi, you're moving kind of slow."
Oh,
It's like, "What's
no.
going on?" So we all go by our day and da 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 da. And so when I get back to moving, I see him, and he is bumping into every wall.
No. Oh, baby.
He can't do, he is bumping into walls, dressers, everything. And I'm like calling him. He doesn't see me. He's trying to find me. He can't see me. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, he just went blind, completely
Mhm.
blind within the
Yeah.
matter of 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I called James and he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, look at him. He can't find his ways. He was like, holy shit, he's blind, Keisha. So, you know me, I'm like hysterical.
Uh, yes, I wish you would have let me know. I could have been hysterical on your behalf.
Well, that's okay. I had other people in the house be hysterical with me. So
Okay,
I
good.
went into
Okay.
my mom's room and I just like burst into tears. So like, I think Susie's blind. She's like, what do you mean? So everyone in the house can hear me crying. So they come out. Skylar's like almost throwing herself on the floor. She's on the cabinet. And my mom goes, he's not dead. He's just blind. So he cannot see shit. So I start researching everything and I'm kind of like, okay, I said, tell Jason so he's going to have to figure it out. He's going to figure out
But, I
how to
mean, did
live
you
like
think about
this.
calling a vet?
Well, James is like, do you want to go to an emergency vet? I'm like, I don't feel like spending $1,400. We'll take him to the regular vet in the morning.
Oh,
And he's
okay.
like,
All right. So you were
all right.
okay. This was like at night. So you had,
This is at night.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
And so I put him in the bed with me, and he's finally like let himself. Well, he fell out the bed. That was one because he could. I was like,
Oh
shit.
my God, Keisha, this is so
I
upsetting.
know. This is like I am just like I mean I have a full meltdown. I'm like I'm not ready to live without him. He's been my best friend for 50 years. I can't
Oh
do it, right?
no. I'm
So we
so
take him
upset.
outside. He can't see shit. I'm like fuck. So Skylar's in the kitchen cleaning it up, and he kind of goes in there, he's sniffing around like he always does when she's cleaning the kitchen. Like, you got
Uh-huh.
snacks on your phone?
Mhm.
So she goes to put a diaper on him, and I can hear him growl at her. And I was like, huh. So she goes, I can't get it on him. I said, try again. So she puts it on him. He growls again, and he turns around and jumps up and bites her finger. I said, wait a minute now. So then I call him. He finds me. He starts
Mhm.
walking and trotting and running behind me like normal. I
Mhm.
was like, this motherfucker can see again. So we start testing him out. He has his vision back. So I'm like, we got to do the real good test. So I put him in a bed with me, and I said, James, try to come give me a hug. Full on almost bit his face off.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he has his vision again.
Okay.
So I told James, I said, it was right after I gave him that new food. He
Okay.
goes, maybe the food made his blood pressure go up. Maybe it gave him
Oh.
inflammation. So I'm taking him to the vet on Monday. Period. We're
Okay.
going, but
Yeah.
he's been normal. Eating, sleep. I didn't that I said that dog food could go fuck itself in the ass. I'm never that's trash. I ought to sue the company. But I was telling my mom, I said, I'm telling you, I watched his decline right after he ate that food.
That is
What do you
so
think?
weird. Okay. If anybody has had
Yes.
experience with this, let Keisha
Yeah.
know because
Please.
whenever you do dog food, you have to mix it with the old, to make sure they just get a
And I
little of
didn't.
each. Yeah, you got to do
Mhm.
that. I know that much, but because like when we were at the beach, I had packed enough dog food for both dogs for the week or whatever, and for some reason, I started getting kind of panicky that I wasn't going to have
Mhm.
enough. Um,
Right.
I don't know why. I mean, I could always grill up some chicken and give them chicken
Right.
and rice. I
Right.
mean, it's not the end of the world. They would be in heaven, but I started getting panicky. I didn't have enough food. So I was
Yeah.
like, let me just go to the grocery store here, which is this tiny little grocery store that very limited. I go, let me get the one like that looks like it'd be the best.
Yeah.
And then I'll just mix it
That's what
in
I
as
did.
as we
Mhm.
go, just to so we won't run out. And let me tell you something. First of all, they didn't like it. And they don't like the food they get. They didn't like this new food. They don't like anything. They were just like, I would like whatever you're eating, and that's that. Now, Violet will get hungry enough and she will eat. Ginger,
Yeah.
she'll go 24, 48 hours. She don't give a shit. Especially if somebody's gone out of town. So right now, Dave's out of town. She's on a hunger
She's
strike.
not eating.
She lays by her bowl and looks at you like,
But
yeah,
where's he at?
where's dad?
Yeah, I
Dad
know.
would have given me some treats on top of here, snuck them
Yeah.
in.
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah, she's on a hunger strike, but I know what you mean. Like, it's so upsetting. Like, Anna wrote me a text this morning. I just took the dogs on a walk and Violet threw up a bunch of bile. But we went on the long walk anyway. We were gone for 45 minutes. I was like, all right. I was like, well, she just probably ate something weird off the kitchen floor. I can't help that.
It's
But
just you never know because they communicate with you, but they can't say that shit fucked up my stomach and my vision. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
the vision
But
thing is
then,
wild.
which I know his vision is getting bad because poodles they get that progressive cataract,
Don't
and
tell me
I'm like,
that.
I'm not. That's what they do. It's part of their breed. I'm like, I'm not spending $5,000 for
You're right.
cataract surgery for my
No,
15-year-old poodle.
no,
I
he
love
could
him to
just,
death, but
no,
the
mm-mm.
surgery alone is too much for him. You know what I mean?
No, he'll
But
put
yeah,
on
he's
some Ray
back to
Charles
normal.
glasses and keep it pushing.
I was just like, I can't do this. James and I have a photo shoot Sunday. I'm like, I'm
I
canceling this.
know.
I'm
I
not doing
know.
live. I'm done. Then the motherfucker back to hate. Jumped and bit James as James is getting into bed. The next morning I woke up
Back to
and I'm
hate.
like, yeah, I'm like, are you okay, buddy? You getting out of bed? And I woke up early and he's like, bitch, this is not what time we get up. He got out of
Oh,
bed, got him some water, stretch, and he looked at me. He turned right back around and jumped in his bed. Yeah, so
that's
I'm like, he's
sweet,
back to normal.
baby. I'm so glad that Sushi's okay because I can't deal with another tragedy after watching this show. I can't.
Oh my God, I know.
All right, let's get started. Let's get
Let's get to
started.
the good stuff.
Let's
Let's get
start
to the good
with
stuff.
Zeruiah. That's what I'm saying. If it's Zeruiah, I'm sorry.
Which I think it is Zeruiah, because I've heard like two people, but it doesn't. Z, her funky attitude, 2-level hair, ponytail, whatever you want to call her.
Bad attitude is what I'm calling her.
Horrible.
So, I'm gonna try Zeruiah. I'm gonna try Zeruiah and Troy. Okay. 3 days out of prison, and Troy says, "Hey, Mom, how are you this morning?" She goes, "Stop everybody asking me that. I am fine. I am doing better than you. I need everybody to stop asking me questions and pack and let's get on the road, Lord."
I'm tired of sharing this restroom with all 5 people in this house. Let's
Wow.
go.
Just
Yeah.
relax. So she got all
Mhm.
mad real quick. And I did post a funny story that'll probably be gone by the time this comes out, but it is saved in the little
Oh,
highlights
yeah,
underneath.
it will.
I
Yeah.
saved it in the highlights, and everybody go check that out, because if you don't
Yes.
think Mama Karen here looks like George Clinton from Parliament, you're wrong, because she did.
She do.
She did.
She do.
So Zeruiah is getting ready, and he's like, "So, you still feeling nervous about going?" And she goes, "Yeah, yeah. I'm worried about meeting. What's the girl's name? Yona, Yana,
Yana.
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 Is it Yuna?
It's either that or it's Yona.
Okay, Yana, Yona, Yana." She goes, "Yeah, I'm still worried about meeting her." So he's like, "Oh, okay. So like, what are we packing and everything?" And she goes, "I don't know if I'm going to go." And he goes, "Well, that would make me really sad because my daughter said she wants to meet
Mm-hmm.
you." And she goes, "Well, the mother's a bitch." He's like, "Okay, well, so maybe when we go, you could just stay at Mom's house and then I'll go get my daughter and bring her over with you. Would that, would that work out?" And she goes, "I don't care. I don't care." And she goes, "He was on the phone just talking to his ex, and like nobody cares about how I feel." So of course he can hear her.
Yeah.
And he walks in and he goes, "How can you say nobody cares about how you feel? You heard me talking to her today." And I said, "I don't want any bullshit. I don't want any drama." She
Right.
goes, "Yeah, you said that stuff in front of me, and then you go in the other room and hide." And he goes, You can look at my phone." She goes, "You can delete stuff." He's like, Okay." She's all mad. It's just like out of the blue. Out of the
I don't
blue.
know. It just, the whole preacher's kid went out the window. She's cussing as much as Karen does. She's got 2 potatoes falling out of her bra. It was just a lot going on.
I thought her boobs look real good.
They just look like potatoes to me
Well,
that were just
listen,
like, I'm not saying they were good, I mean, good or bad, but they just kept,
I know. Well,
and it's like they
that's
kept telling each other, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together. I'm like, why can't she not just go run and put on a tank top and finish putting on her makeup?
no, I
Why is
think
she
she's
walking around in front of her mother-in-law with just a bra and jeans on? Like,
well,
what is going on?
that's the better point. Why are you walking around your
Yeah.
well, later on, Karen's got her shirt off, so I don't know what's happening in that apartment. Um, so but he's all like, "Go look at my phone, go look at my phone." And she's like, "You could delete, you could, I don't trust you around that woman, your baby mama. And you just say whatever you can to appease her and you never stand up for me." He's like, "What are you talking
He
about?"
doesn't even talk to this girl that much. And you can tell he does not want to talk to the baby mama. And look,
No.
I get it. I have been a baby mama and I've had to deal with 2 baby mamas. It is a very awkward,
Yeah.
and you really have to take yourself out of the situation and just do it for the kids. But if you're
Yeah.
a jealous hoe, which she seems to be, it's going to bother you.
I mean, so
She
Karen
almost doesn't even want him to go see his kid at this point,
right.
which, what, to me, she doesn't have to go. Let him go see his kid. He hasn't seen his kid in 7 years.
I know. And he's 3 days out of prison and doing his best to like get there to see her.
Yes, he
Like he
is.
really
Yes.
is. And I mean, we've seen some of these people are like, "I guess I'll see my kid 3 weeks from now or whatever." But he's like trying very hard to get there.
Immediately. Yeah.
And so Karen's like, "Why are you mad? Everything was fine. Like, why are you mad?" And she goes, "Well, because he got on the phone and talked to the bitch and now he can just go by himself. I'm not going to Buffalo. Leave me alone. Pack your shit. Get the fuck out." He's like, "What are you talking?" I mean, he's just sitting there at the dining room table, like, "Continue to slap on that makeup and let's fucking go. Like, let's
So here's
go."
the thing. You don't trust him to be around the baby mama, but now
Mm,
you're telling him to go to Buffalo alone. So
right.
you're by yourself with the baby mama.
Which, of course, he's not
She's,
going to do because he's like, "I'm not going to do
yeah,
that."
because he's got to go
So
home and live with her.
So she's just going off. She's being a complete biatch. And
Yeah.
she's like, I'm tired of dealing with somebody who can't do anything for me. And he's just out of jail. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Da, da, da. And he's like,
Wow.
he goes, I just want to go see my daughter.
That's it.
And finally, Karen goes in there and goes, what is the problem? And then she's just like, y'all are going to make me eat all my gummies again, So
She said she's tired of wasting her gummies on their look, and I have to tell you, there's nothing worse than someone else acting up and you have to go take your good gummy to calm down from their bullshit. No, I want my gummies from when I'm on my own bullshit. Now, I don't want to waste it on because you're acting an ass. So I felt Karen in him. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
oh my
Karen.
God,
Yeah,
she's
I get
funny.
it.
So she's like, get the fuck out of my face. So Karen goes back in there and she goes, oh, why are we doing this? What's
Right.
done is done with the ex. You're married. That girl is not a part of our family, only her daughter. Don't let this one day ruin everything in your life and your marriage. Like, what are you doing? Now,
Because,
Troy, I think,
well,
has
here's the
realized
thing.
to leave her alone
Here's
when she acts like this, I think.
Yes. And I'm so confused that she does not, because at this point, she doesn't want him to go see his daughter, period.
Right.
She almost pretty much said so, but she's perfectly okay with him signing her son's birth certificate and being his dad.
Bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
She's just having a fit. And this is like when she had the fit the other night because they discussed Yona at the dinner table. Yana, whatever the hell her name is.
She's given this girl way too much energy. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's so weird because I think she's thinking about all the shit that her psychic friend told her, spiritual advisor told her about the
Yeah.
baby mama.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
she's totally ignoring the fact that the same spiritual advisor told her this is not going to work out.
Right. Well, she's pushing
Yeah.
against it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Troy just starts walking around outside. He's like, I don't have to do this. He walks
Yeah.
around outside and mom's like, well, now he's outside. And she goes, let him do what he needs to do. He's a grown, I don't care. So mom's like, that's when she's like, y'all gonna have to buy me some more gummies. So in the talking
Right.
head, she goes, I feel like I constantly have to compromise and he never has to compromise. And like, he's been out of prison 3 days. You
3.
married him. You put him on your kid's birth certificate.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, well, you're so immature.
And it's 3 days. Like when they said 3 days, I'm like, God, Lee, he's gone through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Like 3 days, his crazy mama, the
Yep.
church,
Yep.
the meeting the whole family.
Yep.
He got kicked out of his bedroom on the first night home.
Yeah.
Now
See,
he's
but
got
that
to
night,
go.
yeah, remember that? Remember that night, he was like, when she
Yeah.
acts like this, you just got to give
Yep.
her space. And then she was fine.
Yeah.
So
This is a
they're trying
lot.
to call him. He's walking around outside. He's like, I did my time. My time didn't do me. I'm out here walking. I'm free. I'm good. I don't want to deal with this shit. I want peace. I've only been home 4 days. I am ankle monitored. I don't know what her problem is. So then we see 2 hours later. So he's been walking around for 2 hours. Now production does know where he is.
I'm not gonna ever be that mad, Mary Payne. I will never be so mad that I walk around 2 hours.
Me either.
No.
So 2 hours later, she goes, my parents told me never to chase a man, but I don't want people saying about me that I'm the reason he didn't go see his daughter. And that just plays into what everybody already thinks about me. I'm like, well, that's what you're doing.
Okay, so wait. Her parents taught her to never chase a man, but
Uh-huh.
they taught her to order a prisoner. And
Mhm.
like, really? It's okay to go and find a man in prison. That's
Look,
fine. Just don't chase him.
who's the best friend of the other man you had in prison?
Yeah, you date
Mhm.
prisoners. I think that's the conversation you and your parents need to have. Like, don't do this. Stop it.
uh,
There's a sermon about this one. Come hear it. Like,
s-
way too much.
uh, so Zeruiah and Karen go to the train station. They're looking for him.
Mhm.
And Yana calls Karen and says, have you heard from Troy? And
Mhm.
Karen calls Yana and is like, have you heard from
Yeah.
him? He's missing. She's like, yeah, he just walked off. I don't know. So they hang up the phone and Yana tells Karen, I think he's just very overwhelmed with the change and everything. And she's telling Zeruiah this. And Zeruiah's like, well, how come he told her all this? He didn't tell me all that. That's what I'm talking about. He's talking to her. He's not talking to me because you act like this. You act like a crazy person.
And then this person is making plans to come and see his kid. Maybe he's just saying all of this is overwhelming to
Yeah.
me. I haven't seen my kid in 7 years. That's overwhelming. Like your
And now
kid
I got to deal
doesn't
with
even
this
know
bullshit.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Plus, I gotta read all these books so I can become a pastor in 2 weeks. Like,
Yeah, right.
There's a lot going on. Like,
I forgot about how I had to become a caster. Okay.
yeah.
So, Karen says, "Look, I don't know what's going on." And now I did notice now in the car talking about her jacket, she had her tracksuit. It looked like it was sort of like unzipped, but she had pulled it over to the side, which was strange. So then Yana calls Karen again, and I guess Karen goes, "I don't know. I guess they're arguing about you. I don't know." And Zeruiah goes in her bedroom and closes the door. Was like, "I can hear you." And
Yeah, it's literally one room.
it's a
It,
one bedroom apartment. It's one
yeah.
room, one bathroom. So then Karen hangs up and goes, "I don't know. I heard you had a boy up in here and you're having an affair and all this." And she's like, "What? Who? What?" And then she stands up to go over to the door to go like, "Zeruiah, let's get going." And her track now when she was on the couch talking,
Mhm.
zipped up, everything's fine. The next thing she stands up and walks over to the bedroom door, her whole tracksuit is unzipped with her bra out. Why? Why?
Well, you know how she gets high and likes to come out of her clothes.
That's true.
She wanted to come out of
Yeah,
and I'm sure right now she's really taking gummies because this is high intensity right now. Like it's too much. And she's
you're right.
handling it quite well. Karen's doing
And
pretty good.
she probably has hot flashes. And she's like, "Woo, I'm hot. This is not a breathable material. Woo, I'm
Yeah.
cold." Yeah.
Yeah. That's no fun.
All right, let's move on to Bianca and Daniel. Hey, y'all, my favorite place to buy anything is Quince. And I mean anything, guys. I feel like could go over there and be like, you know what? I'm looking for a perfect dress for this wedding that's going to be 4 months from now. And you just look and it's there. You guys, they have everything you need. They have the jewelry, they have the gorgeous handbags, they have amazing shoes. And I just bought for myself a long silk slip dress. So normally I wouldn't wear something like that because I would think, I don't know how this is going to look. Well, I got two sizes, put it on, and guess what I put with it? My little Quince black cashmere cardigan. You guys, I'm going to be so cute on my New York trip. That's what I'm wearing one of the nights we go out. I'm very excited about this. Also, recently got a suitcase from Quince. I'm taking that on my trip as well. I should take pictures of all these things for y'all. I'm telling you, the other day I found on there this gold necklace with a diamond in it. And I was like, putting this into my cart because guess whose birthday is coming up? It's mine. They have these timeless classic guys. You can make a capsule wardrobe of all the classic items. I say you get a bunch of like black and camel items, put them in your wardrobe, and then you just have these classic things that will go with anything else you want. It's incredible. Again, you guys, that cardigan sweater I got, they have the cashmere for only starting at $50. The silk dress was so inexpensive. So inexpensive. If I would have gotten it from another place I won't name, it would have been 3 times as much. Okay. So upgrade your closet this fall with Quince. Right now, you're going to go to quince.com/pinkshade to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's a long time. That's a long time to think about something. That's Quince. QUINCE.com/pinkshade for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/pinkshade and let me know what you got. So
Oh my
sh-
gosh.
she arrives at her new Scottsdale, Arizona apartment. The walls are orange and the couch is red, but she thinks it's great. Um,
Yeah.
she said she's happy it's furnished. She says it's hard to be there totally alone. She misses her friends and family, and she thought Daniel would be home with her. Well, you knew it
Well,
wasn't like he was
you
coming home 20 minutes after you got there. What are you talking about?
she gets real confused very easily.
You're right.
She walks in, "Oh, I'm so glad it's furnished." Well, you rented a fully furnished apartment.
Right.
So, yeah. Then she's like, "I miss all my friends, all my family, but there's no one here, but I'm also real glad to be here where there's no one." Well, which
And
is it?
and she said, "And I don't know, I'm just sad because I thought Daniel would be home with me." Well, no, you didn't because he's not out of prison yet. You're
No, he
going
still
to
got
get him
another
out of what's
day.
I think when she had that accident, a couple of screws got knocked loose.
I'm gonna go ahead and say they were already loose. It has nothing to do with the
Right.
accident. Mm-mm. She just
Yeah.
seems like that type.
So it's one day until his release, and she's making him a poster. I'm going to make him a welcome poster. Oh no, it's already terrible. So she calls
I'm
him. Is
gonna
like,
look
"Are
pretty
you?"
good.
I thought it looked fine.
Yeah,
Listen,
looks
anything's
fine.
better than nothing. And she calls and she goes, how are you feeling? And he's like, I'm a bit nervous. And, the open sky actually kind of
Yeah.
freaks me out because I haven't had that in a long time. And it's going to all be a culture shock. And she goes, yeah, I can't wait to have sex with you. So, are you nervous about talking to your PO about your living situation? She tells us he's supposed to go to a halfway house, but he doesn't want to go to the halfway house.
Well, no one
No
does.
one does. And
No.
they have a lot of plans about sleeping in the same bed together on the first night. So hopefully he's going to be able to do that. And she's also worried about his parents hating her because remember the dad said, "Are you mentally unstable?" Um,
Which was a total
joke,
joke.
joke.
It just flew way over her head because she knows she's probably not that mentally stable.
Right. She took it as
She
a
felt attacked.
personal affront.
Yes, she did.
So she's going to go meet with the parents. So she orders a vodka cranberry. Did she drive there? We saw her
Yes,
driving there.
she probably did. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, everybody, just as a reminder, she was in a very tragic DUI crash and looked for a
She did.
prisoner that had an aggravated DUI.
Hmm.
So,
She said, I want to order a prisoner with an extra helping of DUI. That's what I
because
want.
that will help me get over my trauma of being in a DUI crash. Okay. So,
Yeah. Oh,
okay. So the parents arrive. It's Leda, let's say Leda,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Leda, Leda and James and the cousin Robert.
mm-hmm.
So James, the dad, says he's been sober for 5 months. And mom says, right. So he's been sober for 5 months. So I don't drink.
Why are
Um,
we at a bar?
it-
Why are we at the bar?
sitting at the bar.
At the bar. And
Yeah.
she's already got a drink.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think that she does have an issue with alcohol.
And she does too.
And she just doesn't realize it because we have yet to see her, and there has not been 2 to 3 conversations about her drinking.
It's all she talks about, really.
That's all she talks about.
So dad says, look, first of all, I'm so happy to meet you. And I got to apologize to you for that rude joke I made. That's just my sense of humor. I just thought maybe
Yeah.
I should just throw you in the deep end with my sense of humor. And she's like, oh, okay. Okay. So she's having a drink and they go, so like, how much do you drink? You drink? And she goes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I like to come home from a long day of being unemployed and have a glass of
The stresses of that.
wine. The stresses of being unemployed are really rough on
Mhm.
me. And I like to have a glass of wine or something. And, I like to go out with my friends sometimes. And, he told me he doesn't care if I go out and I have like a glass of wine with dinner or whatever. Now, this is very
Mhm.
different. If you go out to
Mhm.
dinner and have a glass of wine with your food, or are you coming home from a long day of being unemployed and drinking? These are two different things.
Very different things. And I think she more so partakes in going home and drinking a bottle of wine.
Yeah. I mean, she came up with that example real
Every
quick
night.
last week. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, every night.
And mom says, well, but you're not going to drink in front of him, right? And I doubt he's going to tell you if he's uncomfortable with it. But yes, I'm
Mhm.
telling you, it will bother him.
It's a
And
trigger.
she goes, yeah, but like, I don't want to stop drinking. So mom says, look, he's sober. He's doing great. Talking about James. He's sober.
Right.
He's doing great. 5 months sober. He went into rehab. And it would bother him if I went and got all toasted, right? And he goes,
Yes.
yeah, I would pour it down the drain. Like you can't have it in your house.
Yeah.
Uh, and then they go, didn't you get hit by a drunk driver? And she goes,
Yes.
no. What happened was I was with this girl and she was driving my car, but I didn't even know the girl was drunk. Like I never even saw her had her drink. And then she blacked out and hit her head on the steering wheel. And then we went 80 miles an hour into a concrete pole. And so, yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, you didn't know she was drunk because your ass was too drunk.
Yeah, you weren't watching her drink.
She just forgot about that. Yeah, you couldn't even tell that person was drunk when they offered you a ride home because you were drunk. She
Because you
failed
were
to
drunk.
mention that part. You were drunk. Yeah.
So mom says, yeah, when Daniel got the DUI, it was in my car. And the cousin goes, Daniel's really good at masking his behavior. Now, it did look like the cousin was having a drink.
So I was trying to give the cousin a benefit of a doubt because it really looked like a pineapple vodka.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, maybe it's just pineapple juice.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's a mocktail.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
I don't know. But yeah, I know I peeped that too.
But definitely the producers had them sit at the bar to prove a point of this conversation, I think.
They did.
Um,
And they were so petty for doing that.
yeah.
It was real
Let's see if
petty.
we can make this guy James just fall right off the wagon right in front of us.
Exactly. Yep.
So mom says, if he has one drink, that eventually
Mhm.
turns to drugs, and then it turns to stealing, and then everything happens all over again. It's a very slippery slope. I had to deal with an ex-husband that was an addict, and now this guy,
I
and
know.
two kids, and I lost a child. Everything is because of addiction. And if I lose another son, it'll be really hard. And she cries.
And what's the girl's name? I forget her name. That's just how
Bianca,
insignificant. She's like, "Do you want a drink?
does that make you feel better? It
Does
was
that
making
make
me
you
feel
feel better?
great.
A glass of wine?"
Mhm. Bartender. So,
Right?
and the talking head mom, Lita, says, I think Bianca's a sweet girl. I think she's a good person, but she has no clue about addiction. It's one slip up and then they're gone. And my middle child OD'd on fentanyl. And if I lose another child, I might as well die. And we see the picture of her kid who looks like a frat boy. Sad,
You know, I thought that
sad.
was real nice how she said that. What did she say about I don't think Bianca
She said
knows
she's
about.
she's sweet and she's a good person, but she doesn't have a clue about addiction.
Well, here's the thing, Lita. She doesn't have a clue about any fucking thing in the world. Period, point blank. That's
Mhm.
and here's my thing.
Right.
Once again, here's a situation with someone knows that the person they're going to be with is going to have an issue.
Right.
I feel like there's like books out there you can read or groups you can go to help you prepare for this and
Mhm.
how to better support that person.
Mhm.
But apparently
Mhm.
that support for her is at the bottom of a fucking liquor bottle.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
She's like, I'll just
Um,
drink it away. I'll figure it all out.
I figured
I think
out.
she has a drinking problem. I think.
I think she does as well. And I think probably she dealt with her trauma from the car crash
Right.
by drinking to prove to herself she doesn't have a drinking problem.
That's
Like I
awful. Instead of like going to therapy, you
therapy,
know, I think she
groups,
should have probably volunteered to go be one of those peppermint candy girls at the hospitals.
candy stripers.
Oh,
Yeah.
one of those. She should have done that and
Yeah, peppermint girl.
and
Mhm,
peppermint
mhm,
stick girls. Yeah,
mhm.
but she's just going about it all wrong. She really is.
So, in the talking head, dad goes, "Yeah, look, if she's if they get together and she's drinking, then I hope Daniel will have the wisdom to exit out of that relationship, unfortunately." They're being very, very nice to her,
They
but
are.
they're like, "Girl, rub together those 4 brain cells. Come on now. Come
And
on.
then here's the flip side. Daniel may not leave because he knows how much money she got from that lawsuit.
Don't
So it's
forget."
like, I think
Never
I'll
yeah,
just stick it through. Yeah,
yeah.
this is a mess.
So, Bianca says, if I do drink, it'll just be with my friends." And then, they go, "Or you could just not drink." And she's like, "Yeah, okay, I think it should be cool." And then, "So why did you all try to convince Daniel not to marry me? What about this conversation made you think that he shouldn't marry me?" Oh
I don't
God.
know, because he's in prison.
And he's trying
You're
to
kind
get
of
his life
dumb.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
In the talking head, she goes, I think I do understand addiction. And if I have a glass of wine with dinner, it shouldn't trigger him. A girl, it's not for you to say. Fuck off. I hate her. I'm so
She's
mad at her.
selfish. She's very
Selfish.
selfish. I mean, she is 23,
Mhm. Mhm.
but
How old's he?
still.
He's 31? Yeah, he's
Yeah.
31.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's been in prison for 7 years, so technically they're the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta
That
do that. Gotta do that
which
math.
really means it's not going to work.
You're Yep.
Yeah.
Ding ding. Okay. Okay, Julian and Christine. So earlier I was telling you that I was texting with our bunkie Sean Watts,
Mhm.
who we love. Sean is
Hey,
a
Sean.
she's a doctor. She's so smart.
Mhm.
So I just
Yep.
sent her a picture. I said, what in the holy jaw swinging is happening here?" And she said, "First of all, what's going on here?" She said she wasn't caught up with the show. I said, "Well, then you hadn't seen this." And she said,
Oh.
"This girl's jaw is unhinged from the joint. Like, what's going on?" And I said, "You're the doctor. You tell me."
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get back to me on that. I gotta send her
Sean,
some
you
more
got to
video.
catch up. You
Yeah,
got to
I
catch up
know.
with the season, Sean. Like
Yeah.
we all, Mary Payne and I are good at guessing at what we think something might be,
Yeah, that's right.
and we
That's
just
right.
ask for forgiveness later when
That's right.
people
When we
like
find out it's something
continuously
terrible. Yes.
and people tell us it like 50 times. We're like, okay, we get it.
We're
Yeah,
sorry. We're
we're
sorry.
sorry. That's just what we do. That's part of our charm. So
We're
yeah,
on
Sean.
episode 7, Sean. You gotta keep up. You gotta keep up.
Yeah, Sean, come on, girl, come
Even
on.
just watch
I
this
mean,
episode and tell us what's wrong.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot. I told you how my mom was like, "Ah, Keisha, what the fuck is wrong with her jaw? That's
Yeah.
not normal." I
Yeah,
was
we
like, "Well, no
know.
shit, Charlotte, it isn't normal." I said, so I was telling her like
No
all the
shit.
things that people have said that it could be. She's like,
Yes.
"Wow, yeah, that's something." But her attitude was stank this
It
episode.
was, and she has a bad attitude, but also he told her he was gonna hide her in the attic, so let's remember that. Let's remember he said, "You can't come down from the attic 3 of the 7 days of the week. I'll bring food to you like a prisoner." So, let's remember she's got that in the back of her mind, okay?
That is
So,
true. That is true.
3 days out of prison, Christine is calling into parole in Maryland, and she can't figure
Mhm.
out what to do because she can't get anybody on the phone. She absolutely needs to talk to them, so they're just gonna drive to the parole office. She
I don't
reminds
like
us.
this.
You didn't
I
like
don't
it?
like
Why?
that the prisoners keep having to do this. Like they're paranoid about contacting their probation officers. They can never get in contact with them. Then
Yeah,
when they go to talk to them, they're never there. Like, why isn't there like a set time? I need for you to call me at this time at this number for
right,
your appointment.
right, I don't
I
know.
don't like that. Like that's very anxiety inducing for them.
So, I mean, maybe they're understaffed, I don't know. So,
Probably they are. Yeah,
they drive to the
POs are.
parole office, and she reminds us that she was in jail twice. Once in a federal prison for 5 years for 6
Mhm.
bank robberies, and it seems kinda low. 6 bank robberies, 5 years, but I guess she didn't have a weapon, so that's why.
She did it, and she didn't make a threat, Mary Payne. She didn't threaten the
No,
people.
she just said, "Put the money in the bag."
She just that's it. That
Yeah.
makes a difference. That cuts down
So,
your time.
yeah, she says, and the next time she went in, she was in for 7 months for parole violation and fail because she failed 2 drug tests. Okay, so she should have gone
Yeah.
back. She was in 6 places in those 7 months. They
That's
do that.
crazy.
She says they do it on purpose. It's called diesel therapy. They want you to be uncomfortable and unsettled.
Is that true?
I mean, she seemed to know a lot about it, but I mean, I, I guess it's true. But why? Why would they want you to be
Why that
so
many
uncomfortable?
times?
Just so that you're not comfortable there, so you really wanna get out, so you really wanna do better? Like, what's this psychology
Because
behind
sitting
it?
in a cell all day where you can't see the skyline, it's not enough to make you feel uncomfortable.
I don't know.
Let's
Diesel
move around.
therapy, they just
That's
move you, move you,
weird.
move you. It also seems like a waste of tax dollars.
I was about to
Um,
say the same thing. Yeah.
so they drive over to the parole office, and she gets her PO's information. She gets the phone number and, time to contact them, and she says, "I want to be sure they know I am trying to get in touch with my PO. I don't want a parole violation, like, that would be crazy at this stage in the game." Now they drive over the Bay Bridge, and I had an internal and external panic attack because that bridge, for anybody that lives around this area, it's a scary, 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 huge bridge that crosses all across the bay, and it's
Oh,
scary. It's very scary.
how long does it take you to get from one side to the other?
Probably 10 or 12 minutes, but
Okay.
when I've had to do it in my big giant Yukon, which I thank the Lord, I think I found a new car to buy and exchange it. I hate my car. It's so big. And you get on a bridge like that, and
Mhm.
halfway through, I mean, I really start to get that, like that, like
Really?
I am panicked. I am panicked. I'm way better
And
if like Dave is driving, I'm in the passenger seat, I'm fine.
I'm one of those people because we have a bit. It's called the Causeway here,
Hmm.
from the mainland to Galveston Island. I totally forget I'm even driving on the bridge.
I can't.
I never think
It's
about it.
it's so panic inducing for me. It's
Well, I
so
want to know
panic
what kind of
inducing.
car you're gonna get.
I'm gonna get the kinda car I had before I sold it when we got this big car, which is like it's a, Infiniti QX50. That's what it is. I
The
found like a
SUV.
but it's like the medium one. Like, they have that one that's small that's got the rounded back, then they have the
Uh-huh.
medium one, and then they have the huge one. And the
Yeah.
huge one I've also had, and I hate that too. So this is the medium one. I had it before. My favorite car of all time. I got talked into getting the bigger one because, like, oh, we need it for the family. And your son is so tall, he has to sit in the back seat. Guess what? He's at college now. He's got his own car. It's time for me to get the car back that I want. I found one on
I
CarMax.
agree.
Life is good.
There you go. Yes.
I'm getting a used one, so I'm excited.
That's okay.
Um, I want to get a new one, but I was told, "Can you afford
What?
that?" And the answer is no, I cannot. So,
Yeah, that I know. Yeah,
yeah.
that's me. I got the Land Rover Discovery, but I'm like, my hopes and dream, Mister, or have to have the Range Rover. And James is like, well,
Hope
do
you're
you want
enjoying
to
your
go back?
Land Rover.
He's like, you. First one goes, you don't take very good care of this one, and I'm like, oh,
Oh,
I'll
mm,
be quiet.
wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so also I looked up the logo he's wearing on his shirt. It's,
Okay.
I can't remember, it starts with an M. It's like something, something health is what it says. So I looked it up. It's a marketing and branding firm for a medical type company. They represent like 3M and all sorts of big medical brands, marketing. So he is a project manager. So he project manages
Maybe
probably
that's
one
what
of the,
he's.
yeah, that's what he does.
Okay. Okay.
When he's not writing romance novels or whatever the
I was
hell
just
he told
about
us.
people
Yeah.
in prison. Yeah.
Um, so Julian says, he's paying for this lawyer in Ohio for her to get some custody of her twins to fight that. And
Yeah.
now she needs a lawyer in West Virginia to fight for the custody of her son. And he says, they ask him, how much have you spent on all this? And he says, too much.
Yeah. Too
And
much for not my kids and a person who's not my wife.
and so they're talking about this as they're walking. And she's like, it's just like a lot. And she goes, yeah, like, thank you so much. You've gone above and beyond. Like, you don't have to rub it in my face. And he goes,
Yeah. It was real
and
nasty.
I liked what he said. He goes, "Listen, you don't have
Yeah.
to be sarcastic,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been living on the edge of a knife with my finances, paying for these lawyers and stuff, and it's just not gonna work without 2 incomes, even just a
Right.
small income, just something."
Something.
And she goes, "You think I don't know that? You think I don't know that? I've been out of prison 3 days. It's so hard to get a job when you're a felon, and, this just feels like a lot of pressure, like I'm so overwhelmed." And this is when I paused it to take a note and looked up, and I thought her jaw was going to fly into the Annapolis Bay. It was like a typewriter. It had zinged all the way to the side, and that's the picture I took and sent to Sean where she screamed at me over text. Yeah.
So, for anyone who's offended, contact her at Pink Shade Pod. The Libra Lounge of Keisha had nothing to do with what she just said about that.
I know we're gonna find out it's something terrible, so just go ahead and fucking tell us so we can quit talking about it.
Here's the thing, is that the fact that they have not acknowledged that anything is wrong with her jaw.
When we first saw her get out of prison and she jumped on him, we're like, "Oh, no," within the first
Yeah.
14 seconds.
So I guess it's not a big thing because her jaw has been like that the whole time he's known her.
Maybe. But I mean, certainly
But
if it wasn't, he would be like, "Hey, what happened to you in the last 7
hey,
months?"
what's going on there? I just feel like at some point she will acknowledge this jaw issue and tell us
Yes.
about it.
And then we're gonna feel like shit, but until then, we have to address it.
We have to also address that fucking leather jacket she had on.
Well, it's a cute jacket, but it just didn't fit.
Is
Just didn't
that
fit.
what it was? I had saw someone goes, was that a maternity leather jacket she had on? Because it like stopped here and it was all open there. I was like, what is that? What?
I feel like it was
It's
supposed to, like, cross over, and then she zipped it straight up and down instead of the crossover, and when she did
okay.
that, do you know what I mean? Like a motorcycle jacket, like, you
Okay.
cross it over
Okay.
and it zips on a diagonal, but if you
Okay.
zip it straight up and down, then the pieces that flap, I'm talking out of my ass, I have no idea.
It
I'm
was
trying I'm
quite
trying to be nice
unflattering.
because I've
It
already
was bad.
I've already dragged this girl enough. So, in the talking head, she says something real shitty. She
Yeah.
says in his last relationship with his, ex-wife that he had 2 kids with, they went on amazing vacations and their kids are in
Mhm.
private school and he lives in one of the most expensive places in the country. And now he's doing just a 180. I think he's hiding something. Yeah, he's hiding
Well,
you in
how
the
about
attic. Yeah.
it's true. And also he and his wife both worked so they
Right.
could have those things.
Right. Okay.
And
It's not your
those
business
were
where his kids go to school.
yeah. Yeah, those are his kids. You're mad because he's not paying for your kids as fastly as you think that he should.
Right. And I
He hasn't even met her kids.
no, I didn't like this
I didn't like
attitude.
that. No,
So
it made her jaw look worse.
she says, "Look, maybe we had a communication breakdown on our 15-minute phone calls. But when I got out, I thought I'd have a court date for my son immediately. And when we started talking, you said you want to do all this stuff for me and take care of me." And he goes, "Okay, so I'm not taking care of you?" And she goes,
Right.
"Everybody in my life just says they'll do things and then they don't, and blah, 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 blame, 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 and not my fault, and blame, blame,
She's
blame.
playing the victim and she's trying to be a manipulator, and it just isn't working.
It's not working on
Mm-mm.
him."
Nope.
And he says, "Well, I'm not one of those people that has let you down." And
No, he
she
absolutely
goes,
has
"Not
not.
yet, not yet." Girl,
Okay,
zip up your
well,
jacket and keep it pushing. Okay.
yeah. She was doing too much.
Now we're going to talk about Shantae and True, but you said to
Yeah.
remind you that you had some scoop on them.
No, it's not scoop. It
Oh,
is what someone sent me that I
okay.
thought was simply hilarious. She goes, who is this from? Tori Bennett on Instagram.
Okay.
She goes, I think Shantae needs a wig cord, but it's such an improvement that the case should just be thrown out.
Well, the only wig cord I have seen on this episode was the previews for next week, and her friend with the bad wig comes back.
With the
Um,
same, was it the
mhm.
same wig?
But by the way, we saw a preview from
Uh-huh.
last week to this week where we were going to see the daughter say something to
Close the
True, like,
door in True's face.
but but I mean,
Uh-uh.
maybe that's coming up in a couple of weeks. I don't know, but we didn't see that. Then
But
I saw so
they
many
previewed
people.
it for this week.
I saw so many people saying that the daughter had like a fake belly. I was like, No,
No,
no, no,
she's
no, no.
just very, very small. And when
Tiny,
very, very tiny people, they just have that. That's how their stomachs look when they're pregnant.
like a watermelon, yeah. And then people
Yeah.
were pointing to it looked like she had like a belly pad, and I was like, "I think that's like an outline
No.
of her mic pack." You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
cord, whatever.
These people are reaching with this one.
Yeah. Why would a 19-year-old girl pretend to be pregnant? I mean, okay.
For
So
what?
so True, is driving. He drives to see Shantae. Now, he says he hasn't seen her in 3 months. He regrets it, and he says, "I'm going to get my girl back."
Yeah.
Is he driving his girlfriend's car? I mean, did he
Maybe
buy
he
that
did.
Infiniti?
Maybe he did.
Because
It probably has. He probably bought it. Probably has like 350,000 miles on it.
okay, because when I was looking at Infinitis on CarMax, I
They're
know how much those cost.
not cheap
It's
at all. Yeah, I can remember when I was looking for my car and I looked at those, I was like, God damn, these are
y
like
real
really
expensive.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, the big ones
And he's got
are.
one of the real expensive ones too.
He's got the big one, which is the QX80.
Hmm.
Again, I had one, and it is worse than driving a Yukon. You really feel like you're driving a school bus.
Oh wow.
Um, okay, so I sold that pretty quick too. Dave's like, "How many cars have you had in the years we've been married?" "I've had 1." I was like, "Well, it's gotta get it right." So, he says he's gonna go get some ingredients. He's gonna go to the grocery store because they're gonna cook together. It's unfortunate. Their whole idea, their dream of having a restaurant, but they never got to cook together. And, so he's in the grocery store and people are helping him. And I really kinda
It was
like this
really cute.
scene.
I
It was
did
cute.
too. Yeah. Hmm.
I like that he was asking like, "What's the difference between these eggs and those eggs?" And I was like, that's a good
That's a
question."
good question. I mean, especially when you've been in prison and they just give you the eggs. You didn't know that there were like choices between eggs.
And I
Yeah.
like that lady's like, "You have to open it up to make sure they're not broken." He's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, hot tip."
Yeah. Yeah.
He
I
didn't know
really like this scene.
I liked it too. I thought it was cute. I thought it was, like, sweet. He's like, "Look at all the
Yes.
cheese." I mean,
Uh-huh.
So he says, he's got money. He's been making money. He's been hustling and gambling at the casino, and no, he is not gonna say how much money he has. Okay?
Oh boy. This was cause now I was true at the checkout, the self-checkout.
You don't know how to work the self-checkout?
I know now, but I would have no clue how to put cash in there.
Oh, you have to choose on the screen, like, cash, credit, da, 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 and then
And where do you
if
put the money in?
you choose cash, down there at the bottom where you would get change out or whatever, it blinks at you, like, put it in your like a vending machine where you slide it in. Yeah,
I would be so I'm not even comfortable going to the self-checkout unless like the person that assists people
it's
with the
close.
self-checkouts is there. I'm
Mhm,
not gonna do it. No. So I
really.
felt him. Yeah.
See, I'm fast at that I'm fast at that checkout.
Well, I don't like self-checkout, period.
Oh, okay. Well, I do.
Mm-mm.
I like to go faster. I don't have to talk to people if I don't have to.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah. Okay. So he says I gotta be smooth. I gotta move smooth to win her back. So he goes to the house, knocks on the door. He arrives, she answers the door, and she's like, True, what do you want? What do you want, True? Now, the camera is obviously in the house filming behind her. So obviously they knew he
Right.
was coming.
Yes.
And he goes, You want me to leave? Just open the door. Can I give you a hug? She goes, no. And he
He's
goes,
he's doing all the right things and saying all the right things to get his girl back.
He is.
It's corny, but he's still 17 in the head.
That's
So
right. Well, that's right.
yeah.
So he goes, I got some groceries so we can have that cook off we always talked about. And she goes, Okay. And in my notice, look at Shantae in her wig. It looks great.
This was the best she has looked. This is the most personality that she has
Yes.
displayed.
Yeah.
I just was worried about that puppy.
Well, the dog was upset because True came in. They didn't even introduce True to the dog. It was like, just don't
Well,
mind this guy.
the
Yeah.
dog was outside by himself.
Oh, I didn't see that. Don't tell me that.
I did. It made my anxiety go up high.
Don't put that dog outside.
Yeah.
Dog to be eaten by a
Oh,
coyote or something, or a
something.
mountain lion.
Or get hit by a
Um,
car or just anything.
Something.
But
Yes.
it wasn't safe.
It wasn't safe.
Mm-mm.
So, okay. So she looks great, and she does have a lot of
Yeah.
personality here. Yeah.
Yeah, like literally, this is the most that we have seen. And or is this our first season or second season with her? This is like our second season with her.
Yes. Yes.
This is she was borderline likable.
Yes. So he says, Keisha. So he says,
Borderline.
I've got some ingredients. I'm gonna make you a steak omelet. So they're talking about seasoning it. He does it.
Mhm.
He's used to a gas stove. It's an electric stove, and um, or was that Arthur and maybe that was Arthur and Hope.
That was Arthur. Yeah.
Yeah. So she says, so you just want to come to my house and cook? And he goes, no, no, I wanted to come and talk. I'm getting good with you. I want to be good with you for our kids. And I don't want to throw what we had away. And I apologize
Mhm.
for the breakup and how we left off. And I take accountability. And I know you were
He
upset.
did. He actually did take accountability. Like I like the men in this episode a
Mm.
lot more than I like the women in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think he explains it very well. And so she goes,
Yeah.
listen, I want to see action from you to believe anything you say. And he goes, look at me. I'm here. I drove here. I'm going the extra mile. Like, I don't need to use you for anything, for money or anything. I've got everything I want except you.
Yeah, he laid it on thick with that
Oh
one.
boy. Oh boy.
Yes, he did. Hmm.
In the talking head, she goes, it all comes down to respect. And with
Hmm.
that will come loyalty and trust. Because if you don't respect somebody, you're not going to be loyal to them and you're not going to trust them. So that's what it
It's
comes
true.
down to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then as he's starting to cook, she says, so have you been talking to anybody? And he goes, yeah, I was. He goes, I'm going to be honest. I was.
He was.
And that's her car out front. And, and he says,
Uh,
but I realized I don't want them. It was you that I wanted. It's you that I need. The grass is not
mhm.
always greener.
No,
And
no, 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 no. That's not what he said.
oh, what did he say?
He said the grass not, what did he say? The grass not greener always on the other. It was total opposite. So it was totally wrong. And I was like, well, he tried. He tried. He tried.
Well,
He
what he was
tried.
trying to say is the grass is not always
Yes.
greener. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um, and she says, well, I hadn't talked to anybody. And he goes, I know, and that makes me really sad. And I'm sorry that I did that. And but I just feel like I have to be honest with you, which is a good
Well,
start. He's
also,
showing.
it is. But she's also 13 months pregnant. So of course she wasn't talking to someone else.
Um, and the talking head, he tells us, and this, I thought this was very honest. He says, when I got out, I wanted to see how it was to be out and be
Yes.
dating. I
Yeah.
was in prison for 13 years.
Yep.
He said, I had the right to do that. Well, you really
He
didn't because you were
did.
engaged.
Well, both can be true, but it was a
Yes.
prison engagement.
He should have gotten out and said right away, like, I don't know. I don't know. He handled it wrong, but he is right that he was in prison for 13 years and he has the right to go out and date, but then don't get engaged to somebody and tell them y'all are about to get married and open a restaurant.
Well, he needed a place to live immediately after he got out.
That's true. So
Mhm.
he says, I think our bond is going to be stronger now. I'm a better man. And I'm going to be a better person with you in my life, which is
Oh,
nice. And he
that
says,
was very
she
nice.
makes me a better person. So she eats his food and she was like, this is your best dish? Really? This one? And he's like, oh, and they laugh and everything. And he says, look, I want to apologize for being with other females because you were out here stressing about me. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry for that. And I want to show you that you're the only one that I want. And I just want the opportunity to show you. And she
Okay,
goes,
true.
all right. She goes, okay, you can stay here. We can take it day by day, but you're staying on the couch. He's like, now what now?
And you're
She
washing
goes,
those dishes.
and she goes, I know it's a love seat and you're 6'7", but too bad.
Make it work.
Make it work. All
Make
right.
it work. True was actually likable.
He was, and she was too.
I know. I just
Yep.
maybe well, we know they're together, so
So it's going to work out.
it's gonna work out.
All right. LaTisha and Keith. Good Lord, her hair looks so greasy. And people were
Look,
taking screenshots of the back of her wig. And wow. It would be a
it,
wig
it
court, but it was too quick.
it's so funny because she went off on the girls that work in her fake office about not telling her that her hair was sticking up. Well,
Right.
bitch, you're gonna be mad every episode that you see because your hair is sticky, has been stuck up every single episode.
But in her like talking head, she looks great. It's professional.
She had probably just scammed someone and had a little bit of extra cash laying around to get her hair and makeup done for the interviews.
So she goes to see an attorney. What's his name, Keisha?
Arthur, and let me tell you, that's a real Arthur right there. That is Arthur. He's the right age. The hair is right. He had the glass. That is how you're supposed to look if your name is Arthur.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep. Right when they said, I'm going to visit my attorney named Arthur, and that old timey guy showed up, I was like, okay, Keisha's right.
That is an
That's
Arthur
right.
there. Yeah.
So she tells Arthur about the paralegal and is showing him the documents, and he's reading it. And he goes, okay, nothing here says the law has changed. It says the
Right.
policy statement changed on sentencing. And the problem with that is Keith only has 8 months left.
Right.
So the policy is really only applying to men getting sentenced later going forward, not
Right.
ones that are already in.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't apply. So she says, well, we've done a lot based on the information that he's going to be coming home now any day. Like it could be next week. And Arthur goes, so you paid somebody for this service. This person's a paralegal. And where did you find him? Let me guess. He's another inmate.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
she goes, and then she goes, well, and he goes, yep, that's probably why the public defender withdrew. And I don't think a paralegal who used to be an inmate should be out here writing legal briefs to get people's hopes up. And I think they're trying to profit off your hard times.
You know, what was the
Arthur.
paralegal's name? Ben. I don't think that Arthur knows that Ben goes through everything with the rat tail comb.
He goes to it with a fine handled comb.
Is that what?
A fine handled comb. Because the handle makes a difference when you're going through something.
He was going to get Keith out of prison early.
Yep.
And like I always say, I would feel sorry for her, but this is what she does as well for a living. She scams people.
Keisha says she's a scammer. You can also DM.
The law says that she's a scammer.
Libra Lounge with Keisha. So, in the talking head, she goes, Ben sold us a dream and I can't be refunded for my time and my hopes being up. And now I've got to tell Keith. And of course, he's going to be upset because his hopes were up. So she goes outside and calls him and tells him what's going on. It's like, unless something happens in the next 8 months, you'll have to serve out your sentence, but we could still hope. And he goes, well, he submitted the briefs. We'll just see what happens. And he says, I hate that I banked on this thing. Ben should not have given us false hope for me or for my family. And he shouldn't have taken on this case and given us false hope. But I think did she say they gave him $5,000 or $3,000?
I thought I heard $1,000.
It was 3 or 5. It was 3. It might have been 3.
I don't think that I'm going to give a paralegal who has no top teeth over $500 for anything.
I still go with it was a terrible underbite. So,
girl, you like Ben.
I like that legal mind that he's got working.
Yes, you do. You like his work ethic and the way he was going through all those pieces of paper.
Woo! He had some papers on his desk he could shuffle. What if he was renting out one of those cubes in her office? It's
Yeah.
like, that's how she met him. That's
It's
how
the
she
same
met him.
building. That's true. That's a good one.
All right, so she goes home and Aunt Marcia's there, Bismarcky. And now that you've said it, I'll never unsee it.
I just, that everyone has a twin.
It's yep.
And that's
And
her
so
twin.
she's telling Aunt Marcia about like what happened and how their hopes were up
Hmm.
and everything. And Arthur, the real attorney, told her this. And Marcia says, "Well, we need to whip Ben's ass." I was like, "Okay, Marcia, I like it." And she says mostly who will be upset is going to be her daughter, Kira. That's going to be remember she cried last time. She was so excited about
Well,
dad coming home.
what
Not a
about
dad.
his real biological children? I'm sure they're pretty damn upset about it too. But we all know who's not upset. Nariah. Christmas came
Raya is
early
like,
this year for Nariah.
how is Raya like? Is she close enough to 18 where she can get the fuck out?
I
I
think
think
she's
she may.
15.
Oh shoot, sorry,
Yeah, she's
Nariah.
still got a few more years.
So going over to Aunt Marcia's Brown Barbie. Um,
I know.
I love her. I love
And
Aunt
when I
Marcia.
saw that, I should get me one that says chocolate Barbie.
You should. You
Like
should
I
go on
should.
over. Y'all remember the days when you could fall asleep after a night on the town in your makeup, or maybe if you're dealing with kids all day and you just can't take your makeup off, or if you just don't wash your face before bed because you're like, who cares? I'm young. Well, guys, for me, those days are over. I'm a lady of a certain age, and I have noticed a lot of changes in my skin tone and texture. I see the fine lines, I see the wrinkles. You know what? And if you're there, you're not alone. I'm right here with you. But here's the good news. Today's sponsor, OneSkin, has developed a skincare line that targets these changes where they start, and that is your cells. You guys, this is scientific. You just cleanse your face, you pat your skin dry, and you apply OneSkin topical product twice a day. That's what I do, guys. But you gotta wash your face. Do you have products that you can't live without? I do too. I have some that I can't quit. So I apply OneSkin topical face, eye, body, and shield. You could use it under other things that you like. Just put that on first, put it right into your skincare routine. That's what I've been doing. OneSkin's topical supplements are powered by their proprietary peptide OS1. It is scientifically proven to target the dysfunctional cells. I mean, it's kind of rude to call the cells dysfunctional, but that's what they are, the dysfunctional cells that start to accumulate around age 30. These are the cells that will start to make your skin look dull and dry and get more prone to lines and wrinkles. So their topical supplement is targeting those particular cells. Plus, all of OneSkin's products for the face and body are backed by lab and clinical studies and more than 8,000 five-star reviews. For a limited time, you can try OneSkin for 15% off using code PINKSHADE when you check out at oneskin.co. You guys, I'm recommending the topical face supplement. I use the eye supplement, and I've also used the sunscreen. I use the body shield as well, and I've been really concentrating on the back of my hands. Okay. So try OneSkin for 15% off using the code PINKSHADE when you check out at oneskin.co. Start your new scientifically proven skincare routine today with OneSkin. So then they talk about the pink slip that she got on the door because Marcia said,
Mhm.
I'll look into this. I don't know what this is. So you're so busy. Just call a phone number is all it is. But she found out that the homeowners that she rents from had not paid the mortgage and the property is being foreclosed on. She's going to have to move out next month. And she goes, so these people let me sign a lease on this house 2 months ago, knowing they have not been paying their mortgage. And she goes, mm-hmm.
Well, I heard that she got evicted.
Well, I heard she got evicted because the homeowners didn't pay the mortgage. And that's what I
That
heard. I just heard it just now when she just said it on TV. That's what I
Yeah,
heard.
I heard before this that she just got evicted because she wasn't paying her bills.
Well, maybe this was a fake scene. Okay. She's
I think
obviously
it
upset.
was
She's upset. She's upset.
because everything is just kind of crumbling down
It
on
is.
her.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is. I don't know why I like her so much. I just do.
Well, she's likable because
Yeah.
she's lively and she's
Yeah.
funny. She says kooky stuff and she lies and lies and lies and
Yeah.
she's a
I like her.
fascinating little creature.
God. Okay, now we're gonna talk about the sadness. Okay,
Oh
so
God. Why
Hope
didn't
and
we start
Arthur.
off with this one?
I thought about starting with it, but then I was like, I'm not gonna be able to be funny and laughing for the rest of it. I mean, really, this stuck with me. It really stuck with me.
It was a hard. Well, okay. So I have to tell you.
Okay,
So my mom watched it before I did, right?
okay.
So I'm sitting down to watch it and she calls me. Now, granted, we live in the same house, but she calls me. She goes,
I was about to say, doesn't she
"Did
live
you?"
with you?
Yeah. She goes, "Did you see it?" I'm like, "What?" She goes, "The triangle boy. Someone wrong with him. He's seeing demons." And I was like, "Okay, first of all, his name is Arthur. It is not Triangle Boy." I was just
But you
like,
knew who she meant.
I knew exactly who she was talking about when she said, "She go, watch it, watch it, watch it, and call me back." I'm like, "Okay."
Now because I was really studying those face tattoos, and I think that triangle one, I think he could get that taken off, and then the one right by your eye, probably not. But he does have some, like, above the eyebrow. One right below your eye, I think that's why Garcelle's son keeps that one below his eye, which looks so horrible, because I think it'd be very hard to remove it right below your eye.
Really?
They have to do, like, a laser to get it off. I mean, it'd be
Well,
hard.
he most definitely needs to look into getting the triangle removed. I can
Yeah,
deal with the others. It's just the triangle on the forehead.
it's
And
bad.
he's so cute.
Yeah, he is cute, and it's bad.
Yeah.
So, they're in the kitchen, he's gonna make her some food, and she's like, "Yeah, even though I was mad at you last night, my food didn't get eaten that I worked on, but that's fine," and he's like, I'm sorry, I should have kept you in the loop. I was just sitting and talking with my mom." And so she says, "Well, I have a fun day planned for us. Like, we're gonna go to the fabric store and get some fabric for your sewing machine." And he's so
Which is
happy
nice.
about that.
Yes.
Um, it's interesting, right? So they go to the store and they're looking at what he says this is called chocolate chip camo. Did you know that? I
Hmm.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen camo with the dots on it, but I didn't know it was called chocolate chip camo.
Yeah.
Um, And then he tells us how he made clothes in prison. They would get the,
Hmm.
ties from the bread and take the stuff off the side, and it has that, like, skinny metal thing in the middle,
Right.
and
Hmm.
we make needles out of that. He would whittle it into a needle, and he would help people, like, tailor their clothes to fit better, and he said, "I would help other people with their clothes. I didn't charge them. Everybody deserves to feel good about themselves."
That was just so. It
It's
just makes what
nice.
happens feel. You could tell
He's sweet.
he's sweet.
He's
He really
sweet.
is sweet. Because that was just like, oh,
He's sweet. And do we know if he was a thief because he was on drugs, or he was just thieving because he was trying to get money to run the streets? I don't
I
feel
don't
like
think
he had a drug
I don't,
problem.
yeah, I don't remember hearing anything about a drug problem. Not, I mean, not saying that there wasn't, but they just haven't said that it was. So I'm
Okay,
just
when he was
assuming
talking
he
to
didn't
his
have one.
mom, yeah, when he was talking to his mom, he didn't say, "Well, I had the
No.
drug problem. That's why I was stealing."
Mm-mm.
So, Hope's sister Brianna calls, and she's talking to her, and she tells us she hasn't told her sisters about Arthur yet because they're going to be judgmental. And I mean, she's been dating this guy for years. Um, and she would
And
rather
how
that.
can anyone whose sister is Hope be judgmental about anyone else?
I mean, well, she did say she's a traveling chef, so I think Brianna's got a pretty good job. So, and she wants her sisters to just meet in person. They live in Seattle, whatever, whatever. So he walks up and she does a, like, stop, like, don't come
Yeah.
over here. And he goes, "What?" And she's like, "Just like 1 minute, I'm on the phone." And so she's like, "Okay, well, I'll talk to you later. Bye." So she hangs up, and he goes, "Why'd you do that?" She goes, "I was talking to my sister." He goes, "Why couldn't your sister see me? Like, we're in our
Right.
element here at the fabric store." And she goes, "This is your moment here in the fabric store. Like, I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to have drama in the fabric store."
Right.
And in talking to Ed, he goes, "This is not cool." And, like, what else does she
Yeah.
have secrets about? Like, if she's kept me a secret from her family, right? That doesn't feel good. That didn't feel good.
I mean, she could have also just have declined the phone call.
Mhm. Mhm.
She had the perfect excuse. I'm at the fabric store with my boyfriend. I'll talk to you later.
Right. But also they're on camera, and probably she told them, and that's for the storyline. I know you don't like me to tell you that, but it is. I know you don't
You
like
just
it.
love to piss
I
in my
know.
Cheerios.
I know, I do. So, now they're in the apartment, and they're working on putting, like, a IKEA bookshelf together type of
Yeah.
thing. And she's like,
They're
"Now
gonna
you
be there
told."
for hours.
Yeah. By the way, I love to put
It's
furniture
gonna,
together. I love it.
oh
So,
good God.
I love it. I
I'd
think
rather
it's so
have a
fun.
colonic than have to put together
I love it. I think
furniture.
it's I don't know, it's very relaxing. I put together all sorts of furniture for John's room. I had a great time.
Ugh.
So, and he says, she's like, "Oh yeah, you told me you're so, handyman. Come on now." And he goes, "Well, I went to look for my old sketches and letters in the closet and I found this picture of you." And she goes, "Okay." He goes, "But you were with somebody else." Now,
Ugh.
why has she got
Telling
hard
me that.
copy pictures of other people in this age of everything digital? Why does she print out a picture of her with another dude? Was it a sexual picture? Because we know also there was like a sex video that he saw of her. Like this poor
Yeah.
guy. I mean,
Like,
wow.
you're supposed to hang up your roster when your new man comes in for good. Like,
Yeah.
get rid of
Yeah.
all that shit.
Yeah.
But I think she likes that.
To feel like somebody's jealous or guys are fighting over her or like
Yeah,
whatever.
she
Yeah.
seems like that type.
Yeah. And she says, she's trying to talk to him. She's like, "Well, I'm sorry that you saw that or whatever." And she goes, "Do you want me to throw it away?" And he goes, I don't care." And she's like,
And
I really
he's
want,
just going down, 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 down.
and she goes, "Well, I really want you to communicate and talk to me and like, don't hold back. Like you could tell me how you're feeling."
Mhm.
And in the talking head, he goes, "I don't really trust her because of her past
Right.
cheating and now the stuff with her sisters. And I just, it's like, it's coming back to
It's
me."
a lot.
So in the talking head, she's like, "Since he's been home, he's been very, very quiet. I know he's been institutionalized. He's still like in, no, he says to her,
Yeah.
I'm institutionalized. Like I can feel it. I'm in robot mode. And it's good that he can say that because I think some people get out and they don't know
Yes.
what it is.
He did it very well. He really was able to articulate exactly how he was feeling.
He says, "I'm still in that robot mode." And she goes,
Yeah.
"Right, but you can't bury your feelings. It's not healthy. It's going to boil up and it'll come out in a way like you didn't even know. So we have to talk." And she says, "So what is it?" And he says, "The scariest part is just talking about emotions, period. Anything."
Mhm.
And she goes,
Mhm.
"Oh, okay." And in Talking Head, he tells us in prison, you can't let anybody know who you are. You can't be
Right.
emotional. You can't show any weakness. And I've been playing defense for so long.
Mhm.
I want to get back to normal, but I really don't know how." He said, "It's all psychological. The walls are a depressing color. You wear the same color clothes as everybody else. It's all psychological. And if you
Right.
want to get up and leave your cell, you can't because it's
Right.
locked. And all this stuff will break you down and you can never be the same."
Ugh, man.
So then he says, "Excuse me, bro." And he gets up. I assume bro either to her or to the cameraman.
No, he kept referring to her as bro, and I said, "Thank God we're not doing a drinking game because we be drunk." Because he called her bro like 8 times, which is kind of odd. Call your girlfriend bro, but
Well, in our house, everything is bro and girl. I mean, Dave texted me last night something, and I go, "Girl, I don't know." John will text me and be like, "Hey, we're doing this." I'm like, "Bro, bro." So he says, "Excuse me, bro," and he stands up and goes to walk out, and he's crying, walking down the
yeah,
hall. He's crying. So the producer, a woman who seems incredible, says,
yes,
"Hey, let's go downstairs. Let's go get some air." And he says, I'm so confused." And then he
mm,
says, "Allah, forgive me." So I was
yeah,
like, "Oh, maybe he's Muslim." And then the producer is kind of trying to, "Are you okay? Let's just breathe," and
right,
trying to talk to him. And then he tells us from his perspective, he says, "I've never really been through something like this, but my hands are moving weird and the buildings are shifting and the workers look like demons. Like everybody looks like a demon except for a couple of people. And now I'm thinking right now is my time to go to hell for everything that I've done."
Jesus, mm,
This poor guy.
yes,
So that was
yes,
upsetting when he's describing what he was going through
yeah,
at that time.
yeah,
So, but when you see it, like, if he just would
yeah,
have told us that this happened, we would have been like, "Oh,
yeah.
wow, that's fucked up." But to
But
see
we're
his
watching it.
he really looked possessed.
He, it was bad.
It looked
It,
like something
it,
out of a movie, like somebody was faking.
yeah. It was hard to watch.
It was very hard to and I did not know because he seemed so out of his he was obviously
Mhm.
having some sort of outer body experience
Yeah, I
that
think so
he
too.
was totally disassociated from his body.
Yeah.
And I was afraid he was going to try to hit her or hit the cameraman because he was but his arms were just hanging so limp by his side.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to admit that when he said, "Allah forgive me," I hate to
Didn't know
say
what
this,
he was
I
gonna
thought he
do.
I really thought he was going to walk into traffic. I was scared. I'm like, this cannot be happening right now. I thought he was going to try to do something to himself.
I did too, because the woman was there, but then that big, huge dude
He
was there.
did come. Yeah. Hmm.
And so he's just staring at her and he can't talk. And she's like, "Are you not going to say anything? Are you, what's going on?" And
Yeah.
that to me started me being like, "Oh, no, no, oh no." Because he is staring at her like he's possessed, like for real, like something you see in a movie.
Yeah.
She goes, "You're not going to say anything. You can't say anything. Can you talk to me? Can you say anything?" And he's just staring
I
at her
I think initially when she came down and she saw how he was acting, I think she thought he was upset about
about
finding the picture.
yeah,
And then she started realizing,
something's
whoa,
wrong.
there's something else that's going on here. And thank God for whoever that was who said, let's call his mom.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so he says, "I love you, Hope."
Ugh.
And she says, "What's going on? You're scaring me." And she tries to hug him and he goes, "Stop." And she says, "Don't hug you? Okay, look at me. Do you know who I am?" And he is just
Right.
staring,
Yeah.
glassy eyed, and his
Yeah.
arms are hanging by his side. And then production gets his mom on the phone. And I guess they said, "We don't know what's happening with him. Does he have a
Right. Let's
history
call
of
his mom.
this? It's a
Yeah.
psychotic
Yeah.
break of some sort." And she is talking, going, "How are you? Are you okay? It's mom. It's mom." Now, production is taking his mic off,
Yeah.
which I liked.
Hmm.
And he says, "I love you, mom." And she says, "Well, I love you too. Now, are you just having anxiety about being
Right.
out? It's going to be okay. And when it's not, we're going to get through it. You're going to be
Right.
okay." And he says, he just doesn't say anything. And they hang up with mom. And that he seems like maybe he's a bit better.
Hmm.
And he's still staring at Hope like he's so scared.
Yeah.
And she says, "It's going to be okay. Just breathe. Can you take a deep breath? It's going to be okay. It's
Yeah.
me. It's just me. It's going to be okay, babe. It's me. It's Hope." And he just starts breaking down. This is
Yeah.
probably the hardest thing we've ever seen on these shows that we watch.
Ever on these shows. I mean,
Yes.
and there's been some times that we've seen some really sad things,
Mhm.
but nothing
Like
to this caliber.
Clinton Tracy, and, and we saw, remember that
Yes.
girl that was that model and she was in the bathroom and she was on drugs, and the guy, this was one of the first seasons.
I don't know.
She
Heather?
was no, 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 that's terrible to
Not Heather
watch
Dillon.
too. It was
Yeah. I
before
mean, we've
that.
seen some bad things, but this is like
The girl's name was,
number
like,
one.
started with a V, and she was, like, Czechoslovakian model, and she was, like, a model, like, it's not a
I don't
supermodel,
think I
but, like, a
remember that
working
one.
model, and the guy had met her online, and she got out, and within the first few days, it was, like, after a job interview she'd gone to, and
Mm.
she, like, hid herself in the bathroom, and she was using, and it was bad. It was
Oh,
bad.
Jesus. Ugh.
So, in the talking head, she says, "I have no idea what's going on, and I'm really scared." And when he first got out, I thought, "Okay, we're gonna start our life. He's fine. It's
Right.
cool." But after witnessing this, he's obviously not okay on the inside, and
Right.
I don't know what to do. So, I mean, I'm grateful in this situation that production was there and that they weren't just the 2 of them, and he, like, walked out into the street, into the traffic, because
Because
she wouldn't have known what to do.
no, she would, no, no.
So in the talking head, he says, this is interesting too, because when he earlier in this episode, when he explains what happens in this situation, so you
Hmm.
do know that they're talking to him afterwards, because in this situation, when he's talking about
Right.
the PTSD, you're like, "Oh, he could have told them this 2 months ago."
Yeah. Hmm.
But because he describes what happens here with the buildings and the
Right.
demons and all that, we know that they were able to talk to him afterwards. So he says, "Yeah, I definitely have PTSD. I still wake up.
Right.
I think I'm in prison. And in prison, I saw a person's soul leave
I
their
know.
body. You will
Mm.
never know what it likes to see another grown man die in front of you. You will never know what it feels like when they're reaching out to you for help, to
Yeah.
grab your hand, like, 'Help me, please.' And they're
Yeah.
looking in your eyes." That
That's a
shit kept
lot.
me up. That shit kept me up for months. I've never seen somebody be killed like that right in front of me, right in front of the COs. And it's
Yeah.
something never anyone should have to see. I wish I was never there. I wish I never saw that shit. And then we see production paused filming with Arthur and offered him mental health services. And then we see if you know someone suffering from a mental health crisis, or if you're suffering from a mental health crisis, you call 988, which I don't think I realized there was a 911 number like 988 for mental health
Me either.
crisis. So I was glad they
Mm-mm.
put that on the screen.
Yeah.
Now, there was a post that you sent me saying that he's doing
Uh,
okay. It looked like he was wearing some clothes that he made. And did you find
I
out
think
anything
he's
from
still
that?
locked up though. No, because I went back and I looked. And so according to Amber, is interviewing him tonight.
Okay, now who's
So
Amber? This is Amber.
according to Amber, like
Oh, it's
she's
called According to
yeah,
Amber. I thought
according
you
to
were
Amber.
like,
Yeah, she could.
according to Amber, like according to
Oh
Mary
no, no, no,
Jane.
no, no,
No,
no,
no.
no, no. She
Okay.
does all the scoops. She does interviews with a lot of reality TV stars. She always gets like all the scoop.
Okay.
Um,
She's not that girl that's like that girl with the black hair that like smokes
Not
pot.
no, not her, not her,
Okay.
not
Yeah.
her.
Okay.
Totally different. So I think he may still be locked up from the incident with Hope,
Hmm.
where they were either fighting over a gun, she got shot, he was trying to leave. I've heard two or three different versions of it, but I think he's locked up right now. So I think this is going to be like a prison interview.
Okay. And I hope that when he gets out, that he and Hope, as sweet as she was being
Never.
here, I think they really need to
She's
part
not a
ways.
sweet person at all.
Yeah.
So she says that he's going to talk. Oh, the interviews today or tomorrow, which by the time this comes out, you can just go back to her page and
Okay.
watch
According
it.
to Amber. Okay.
Yeah, she has a YouTube channel, and she said he's going to talk about tonight's episode and his life behind bars.
Mm,
He does have an Instagram page. I think lots of women are loving him and are willing to take him in when he gets back out.
mm.
Um,
Probably he
so
just needs
yeah,
to go and be with his mom and
with
his
his mom.
family. Yeah.
So I have to say something, and don't hate me because I said it.
Okay. I'm ready.
But I tell you what, if I'm ever in a position where I'm starting to see demons,
Hmm.
the last person I want to see come around the corner is fucking Hope looking like Beetlejuice. Now that's some scary shit.
Keisha.
She looked crazy
I know,
this whole episode.
but I know her hair is, yeah, it's not great,
That
but
is scary. That is
he
no,
loves
that is
her. But
he didn't need to be her. He never ever needs to be around this person. She is toxic. She doesn't know how to wear clothes her size. She has hoe like behavior. I just don't think I think she's jealous. She's just a toxic person.
one hopes that after this situation with the gun and the whatever happened there, that he had to go back to prison for, and it involved her. I think that he hopefully has learned his lesson, and his
Let's hope.
mom has said, "I will be picking you up. Don't even tell her when you're getting out, and we're done."
Yeah.
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 So next week on Love After Lockup, Daniel gets out. Bianca's there to meet him. Oh, there he is. Christine has a brand new choker, and she tells Julian, "You've been hiding shit from me." And then she says, "He's the world's worst liar." Now, probably this is
Oh.
going to be like an engagement. I mean, do you know what I mean? It's where we're
No,
getting
not an
tricked.
engagement. You think an engagement?
Well, because she's like, "He's such a bad liar. Oh my God, he's going to introduce me to his kids, and I can leave the attic. It's amazing."
Well,
Um,
whatever it is, she's gonna find out. She's got nothing but time up there on those days she cannot leave the attic. So
I
she's gonna do a lot of
mean,
snooping.
that's right. That's right. I mean, all her stuff is piled up in the corner, to which I say the kids didn't ask whose shit is in the corner of your bedroom. So,
Yeah.
Joey doesn't seem to want a wedding, and that makes Kimberly upset. Okay.
Okay.
Shantae has an upcoming ultrasound, and hold on, let's see. She's got they're in the house, got an upcoming ultrasound, and her friend comes over. Her friend comes over with that Oreo looking wig and was like, "So you're not going to go with her?" And then he goes, "Well, what I haven't told you is," and she's like, "How many secrets is this man going to have?" So what is the secret?
I don't know.
We already seen like a preview that like he's got to go to her house because that's where he said he was paroling.
And I feel like that's really why he wanted to make up with her.
It's 3 months. So nobody noticed for 3 months that you were living with this other girl because your mom
Well,
kicked you out.
they can't find their POs half the time, so maybe the PO wasn't looking for him.
Right. And remember, he said he didn't really feel like he had to check in with his PO that much. He didn't
That's
really feel
true
like that
too.
was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not important. I'll put that last on my list of things to do here. Yeah.
Who's gonna care?
I gotta
Um,
perfect this omelet.
oh my God. I don't think a steak omelet even sounds good. I'm sorry.
Well, not if you're trying to impress me. I don't want a fucking omelet. I want some cake.
Yeah. Ooh.
Hmm.
Everybody, you know where to find Keisha. She's the Libra Lounge with Keisha. She's very funny. She's got a very funny
I
podcast. She
try to
talks about
be.
pop culture and what's going on over there on the Libra Lounge.
So this drops on Monday. So yeah, Libra Lounge with Keisha will drop on Monday as well.
Okay.
So Amy from 1,000 Pound Sisters got bit by a camel at a zoo and then got
Right.
arrested.
Right.
We're talking about how Lizzo spent years and years and years telling us to make our backs big, and she's been unbigging her back.
Think
Kim Zolciak's,
Lizzo went on the shots?
I don't know, but she's lost a shit ton of weight. I'll
Okay.
say that.
Okay.
So Kim Zolciak, at this point, Croy is begging the courts to just sell the house for however much you can get out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna talk about mom talk. I had insomnia really bad one night, and I started watching. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I heard it's okay. I
Yeah,
heard it's okay. So, yeah,
it's,
if you're looking for
yeah,
something to watch, it's okay.
yeah. I
All
agree.
right. We'll take it. We'll take it. I might have some time tonight. I've got a bunch of stuff to catch up on because today's Monday. I'm going to New York tomorrow afternoon to hang out with Matt and Jake and our social media girl, Caitlin. And we're going to do this TLC party and we're going to go to dinner and we're just going to
Nice.
really act like New Yorkers for 4 days.
How fancy.
Oh my God. Matt called me yesterday and I was like, I feel like we're going to get there and you guys have all these New York friends and y'all are going to ditch me, but I'm just going to be walking the streets in New York by myself. And he goes, well, I'm not going to really see these friends until like Friday and you're leaving Friday. And I go, yeah. He goes, bitch, the friend I'm coming to see is you.
Oh, that's so
I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to get in the
sweet.
bed and snuggle. It's going to be so fun. So
Oh,
I'm excited. And Poodle just stand at the end of the bed and watch us. I don't know. So I'm excited about that. So you guys, this week I will have, let's see. So we've got Before the 90. I've got that with Kimberly. That Keisha, you got to get eyes on that Before the 90 days.
I have been seeing some things, and I'm like, I have taken a 90-day fiance break for like a couple of years, but I think my
This is
interest
the
has been
one.
peaked.
This is the one.
Okay.
This is the one. It's incredible. Incredible.
Okay.
And I'm going to get to meet a couple of those cast members at the TLC party and some
Oh,
former
nice.
cast members as well. So that's fun.
Okay.
And then Thursday,
Wait, is it question? Is it just former cast members from 90 Day Fiance or TLC shows?
no, 90 Day Fiance.
Okay.
It's a 90 Day Fiance party.
I was hoping it's Chantel so you could see like what's going on with her face
And her ass.
and them titties.
I mean,
Got pretty big.
wow. Just because you work for a plastic surgery office doesn't mean you got to get everything on the menu.
You don't have to be the tester for everything that comes out over there.
They showed
She's totally
she did
different.
that like professional video of her up in the club and she got out of that car and I was like, whoa, where did that ass come from?
That's not her.
Yes, it was. The girl getting out of the car that had the black bodysuit on.
That's not her. So I'm gonna take a screenshot and show you. The girl looks a lot like Chantel.
Yeah.
But Chantel's really over to the side. I'm gonna have to go back and take a screenshot to show you exactly where Chantel is versus that girl. Yeah, because the whole time I'm like, damn, Chantel looks really different. And I'm like, I didn't know she was that kind of wild. But then I went back and read the comments and everyone thought that was her. But no, Chantel's off to the side. You only see Chantel like a couple of times. I'm going to send it to you. I have to do it like as soon as we're done. I'll forget all about it.
Okay, because I watched that video and I sent it to Matt and I said, well, what has Chantel done to her face and what did she do to her ass?
Well, Chantel's done a lot to her face.
A lot.
That is true. A lot. It's a lot. She's such a pretty girl
to listen, do what you want. I don't care. I'm all for, whatever you want to do. Plastic it up. I don't give a shit. I've been watching Tamara Judge's thing just with envy. I'm like, I can't wait to burn my face off like that. Give it to me.
I'm like, I hope one day that when I'm, at that point, well, I'm watching a video right now so I can do the screenshot. Shit. I'm able to afford to do all that.
Yeah. I mean, I told Ingrid, I go, whatever she did to her face, she burned her face off. I want to do it. Ingrid's like, what is wrong with you? I go,
Well, we
listen,
got to
there's a
see how it
doctor
looks
out there that
after the
wants to give it
fact.
to me. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, I just want. God dang it! Talking to you, I keep missing the shots where it's Chantel next to the girl. But
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
I'm gonna
All
send it to you. Yeah.
right. Okay. So anyway, that's what's going on. I've got Gibson Johns, who's a writer who also has a podcast. He's going to be talking Bravo with me this week. And then, of course, I'll have Amy on
Mm.
next weekend to do 90 Day the Other Way, as well as Welcome to Plathville. And I was texting with Olivia from Welcome to Plathville today, and she's going to come back on soon. And also, guys, I had a great interview last week with Emily and Kobe. Everybody really liked it. So
Oh,
thank
nice.
you. If you want to see a reel from it
Okay,
that was
good.
funny, that we put together is hilarious. That's at Pink Shade Pod on Instagram, and you can follow Keisha at the Libra Lounge with Keisha. So there you go, guys. Enjoy your week. Bye.
Bye.